one of the things that's really been amazing to me, having been in the business for several decades, is, watching. I remember, I think I did a presentation around about 2000 of the first $1 billion funds.
Mm-hmm.
And then having people say to me in the last few years, who are raising multi-billion-dollar funds, we're too small as a firm.
Mm-hmm.
We're too small to compete. Even with 10 billion in AUM or 20 billion in AUM, we're still very much mid-market by
Right.
all the things you were talking about of needing a platform, needing the technology, building those relationships. How do you think about sizing Prime today?
Well, sizing Prime and sizing funds are different equations.
Yes,
right?
The company, the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you size a fund, it's a huge decision.
Yeah.
The institutional investors are right. If you get too big, returns go down. If you're too small, you're not credible. So there is a kind of a sweet spot there, and you can figure it out to some degree given the market opportunity and whatnot. What I really think about in terms of the size of the business is, you have an increasing tech spend. You really have to focus on culture, HR, all these kinds of things that no one paid any attention to 20, 30 years ago, right?
Right. Go to work.
Right. And, go to work, do the deal,
Right.
make the money, right?
Right.
But, it's all these types of things, and that's how you win. That's how you generate extra returns in this business.
Right.
So it has a lot to do with, I need to do, there's more podcasts, right? I mean, who was doing a podcast, 20 years ago or anything like this?
Right.
Right. So there's branding exercise.
Right.
There's just a big spend that goes with a, more mature platform. If you have a more mature platform and you do these, you can actually you can take an asset and outperform what your competitors do if you do it well. I could say, I'm a better manager, and people either believe me or not, but there was no way to prove it.
Right.
Today I can measure that to, the fourth decimal point.
Right.
But I couldn't do that unless I spent really a lot of money on technology, as an example.
Do you have a sense of what percentage of your revenues you're spending on tech every year? Do you think about it that way?
I don't know if I think about it exactly that way, but certainly it's millions of dollars. And, there's, again, let's take just the apartment business, right? And so, today you have to have a very sophisticated social media. Otherwise, to a lot of people, you don't exist. You have variable pricing. You lease online.
Right.
You need AI tools to do the credit checks.
Right.
Once a tenant moves in, you're seeing a AI bot take all the calls. Someone has a leaky sink. They want to call at 2 a.m. on Saturday.
Yep.
And so you need to be able to do that.
Yep.
And not so much as a cost cutting, but actually as an improvement in customer service.
Yeah.
People like it better.
When you're in San Francisco, so I think of you as being more tech forward than New York, fair or not.
Yes.
And when I listen to people from, the Mag 7 or, who are really deep into the AI world, they'll say things like everything will be different in as little as 2 years.
Yes.
How are you thinking about that in the context of your credit business?
So generally how I think about tech is you better be experimenting with it all the time. And because by the time it's real, if you're not experimenting and have some knowledge, right, you're just behind.
The curve.
You're way behind. It's very hard to catch up.
Yeah.
And so in our debt business, it can help with underwriting. It can help with writing investment committee memos, therefore go faster. It can help with credit checks. It can help with investor relations. There's so many things that you can do with it. And we're experimenting with it all. As a philosophy at Prime, we always experiment. Whether we experiment a little bit investing, it's always in proportion. We never bet. And then if something really works, then we, blow it up and make it a big thing. And if it doesn't work, we try to kill it soon. But the philosophy is experiment, 100% of the time.
Do you have a tech department? How do you do that within the culture?
We have a tech department. Yeah, we have a tech department, and it seems to get bigger and bigger. The thing about tech is they always say, well, if you do this one thing, you're kind of done. And, if I were to get reincarnated and come back, I would come back as a tech company. because it's just endless. It's an endless expense. You must see the same thing.
We see the same thing because we are not processing that volume of information.
Yes.
We're processing much because our business is people reach out to us. They say, we'd like you to raise capital for us. We have to do a lot of analysis and figure out who they are and what they do and whether it's a mandate that would make sense for the institutional market. Then we have to underwrite it. Then we have to package it. And then we have to take it out to the market. I mean, that's pretty simple relative things. And we don't have the business of, asset management, for example.
Right.
It's really personal client relationships. So our tech needs are lighter, I think, than certainly, a firm like yours.
Right.
But literally everybody, it's a little bit like little kids playing soccer sometimes, where we were all using ChatGPT, and then we've all now gone to Claude for the enterprise software, and we're trying to figure out, and every time we change something, it's just a huge time commitment for everybody. And then there's people like me who, are slow learners on it. So, of course we started with, a Copilot. Yep. And, we've grown on, and I'm just thinking over the past year, how many different technologies I've had to try to learn to use. And I can see why kids coming out of school are, wide-eyed and not quite sure what world they're walking into because it's changing really fast. But it's really hard to see, sitting in this seat, maybe sitting in your seat, what our business is going to look like in 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think from our perspective, the biggest question is whether the bringing AI in, and AI will change an awful lot of things.
Right.
I don't know exactly the time frame, but it'll be certainly in my working life and pretty soon. I think whether it enables more, in essence, revenues, or it's a cost cutting that, everyone is so worried about. The signs so far, and no one knows the answer to this, and I'm not suggesting that I know the answer to this, but the signs so far is that it's going to, in essence, enhance the scale of the business more than cut the costs.
Right. Okay. Yeah, there was someone on CNBC this morning talking about the numbers, the GDP growth, and saying, cost cutting didn't seem to be a big thing, maybe a little bit on the margin.
Yeah, it's too early to call it.
Right.
And it's still, the doomsayers, they could be correct, but the sign, that's not what the signs are. The signs are so far that it'll help the revenues and it'll help the scope of the business.